आज हम जो टॉपिक पढ़ने जा रहे हैं फॉर्म्स ऑफ मार्केट के अंदर, दैट्स द मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन। इससे पहले हमने परफेक्ट कंपटीशन पढ़ा, हमने मोनोपोली पढ़ा। दिस इज आवर थर्ड फॉर्म ऑफ मार्केट विच वी नो एज द नेम ऑफ मोनोपोलिस्टिक कंपटीशन। अब देखते हैं इसमें क्या क्या फीचर्स होते हैं एंड हाउ इट्स डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द other two markets that we've studied earlier. So the first feature being that there are many buyers and sellers. This is something that you will remember we studied in perfect competition, right? तो monopolistic competition में क्या होता है? There are a number of buyers and there are a large number of sellers, which means that there's no like single buyer, there's no single seller, there's not just one producer, which we studied in in monopoly competition. So in monopolistic we have a large number of buyers and sellers. We'll study what this implies actually, because a large number of sellers has its own implication in a market. Like हमने perfect competition में देखा, जब बहुत सारे sellers होते हैं in the in the economy, तो लोगों को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि अगर एक सेलर वहाँ पे रहे नहीं रहे, even if you keep adding more sellers or even if you keep taking out sellers from the market, it makes no difference to the market, to the economy, because the prices are same, the goods are perfect substitutes, the goods are homogeneous. So in that sort of a market it makes no difference. But monopolistic is it's a bit different from perfect competition. So here a large number, it's not a large number, but there are a number of sellers and that has its own implication. देखते हैं हम कि क्या होता है. The second thing is there's product differentiation. मतलब perfect competition में हमने देखा था that the products were just same. There was no difference in the products. They were completely homogeneous products, right? But monopolistic में there are a number of sellers, and each seller is, or each producer is, making something different in their product. They're not selling the exact same product. The products are close substitutes. I'll give you an example. For example, we can take the case of the kinds of soaps that we have in the market. We have Lux, and then we have Dove, and then we have Margot, and then we have so many brands, right? तो वो सारे सेम प्रोडक्ट नहीं होते हैं, वो they are a bit different in some way or the other. Like differences do not have to be in the materials used. It can be the materials used, it can be the packaging, it can be something or the other. There is some difference, right? Because and we relate this with perfect competition. Perfect competition में यही चीज ऐसे होती कि there's just only one soap in the market. Let's say there's just Dove, and every seller is selling that Dove soap. Every producer is producing that Dove soap, and everybody is selling the same thing. So it won't make no difference if we go to one seller or if we go to the other seller. Here it makes some difference, because अगर मुझे एक particular soap पसंद है, I will buy that particular soap and I'm going to whichever seller is selling that. If I don't find it with that seller, the first one that I'm approaching, I'll go to some other seller, because if I have a brand fixation, if I want only that one particular product, I'm going to look for that, and I'm going to look for the one seller that's selling that product, right? So that is why in the monopolistic competition there's product differentiation. So हमने ये टर्म पढ़ा था, there was in perfect competition the goods were homogeneous, right? So they are homogeneous goods, which means that they are perfect substitutes, right? And this was the case of perfect competition. But in a monopolistic competition we have the goods are close substitutes, right? So these goods we call them heterogeneous. These are heterogeneous goods, which means you basically can make out the difference in those goods. इनमें कुछ तो different होता है, एक product दूसरे product से किसी ना किसी तरीके से different होता है, and that difference is pretty prominent. We can make out what the difference is. So that's the second point, that we have the goods are close substitutes. And why they are called close substitutes? Because we can use one good in place of the other. Like an example that I gave you, जो हमने soaps का example use किया कि हमारे पास तरह तरह के we have a variety of soaps, we have a large number of brands selling different kinds of soaps. So if for example, like I said, if I want Dove, I'll go to one particular seller who's selling Dove. Let's just say hypothetically that we don't find Dove in the market. वो है ही नहीं, किसी भी seller के पास वो particular soap जो मुझे चाहिए वो है ही नहीं. So what I'm gonna do, I obviously need soap. So I'm gonna go for my next best alternative. I'm gonna go for the soap that I can, that I like best after Dove. So let's say it's Lux, right? So it's Lux. I'm gonna look for a seller who sells Lux. So I can replace one good for the other. I don't need that one particular good. Yes, I might have a fixation और मुझे वो चाहिए मतलब वही चाहिए. But that's a different case. That means that I'm very much fixated on that brand. But besides that, since that's a commodity that I need, no matter which brand I'm buying it from, if I don't get the one that I like best, I can replace it with something else. And that is why they are called close substitutes, because you're not getting perfect substitutes of that product. You're not getting the same product from everybody, right? But you're getting some other product which you can use in place of this one, this particular one that you want best. So that is why those goods are called close substitutes. The third characteristic is that there's imperfect information in the market, because in perfect competition we saw that there's, so basically monopolistic is, if we'll find out later, it's a lot like perfect competition, but there are very minute and very critical points of distinction between the two of them. That the difference amounts to a lot. There's considerable difference, right? So there we saw there was perfect competition, मतलब सबको पता थी कि prices क्या है और quality कैसा है, और there was perfect price information, there was perfect knowledge in that market. But in monopolistic there is imperfect information. मतलब buyers और sellers के पास जो information है, जो in terms of price or whatever, जो knowledge है, जो price knowledge है, that's not perfect, that's imperfect. They have little or maybe let's say partial knowledge about it. They don't have complete information, right? तो ये चीज़ imperfect, ये चीज़ monopolistic competition में इसका बहुत important feature है. There's no perfect knowledge, there's no perfect information. Yeah, some people might have, but that's really a minority group of people. Maximum people in the economy do not have perfect knowledge about the goods, because there are a number of goods. There's not just, उसमें क्या था, उसमें एक ही product बिकता था. In monopolistic competition what happens is there's a large number of goods, and it's not always possible to have perfect knowledge about every product from every brand. So that is why imperfect information exists in a monopolistic competition. The next thing is there are non-price differences. Like we said, they are differentiated products. They are not the same product. But it's like, हाँ, एक ही चीज़ है कि जब अलग अलग ब्रांड से वही एक तरह का प्रोडक्ट अलग अलग ब्रांड्स के अलग अलग हैं, तो there will be certain variation in prices. There doesn't always have to be, but there will be certain variation in prices. And what happens is जो भी ऐसे goods हैं जो same level पे बिकते हैं, like let's continue with our example of soaps. If we take the two brands which are most prominent in the market, which has the largest demand. So we have two soaps जो सबसे ज़्यादा बिकते हैं, two soaps from two different brands जो सबसे ज़्यादा बिकते हैं, right? If we ever tried comparing, हमें ये पता चलेगा कि उनके जो prices हैं वो दोनों अलग अलग brands की, वो soaps की, they are very close to each other, because each brand knows that if they increase the price way too much than the other brand 1 and brand 2, if brand 1 increases their product's price way above brand 2, उन्हें पता है कि the demand for brand 1 will shift towards brand 2, because they are substitute goods. So when you're increasing the price of one of the two goods, the demand for the other will definitely increase. लोग कहेंगे कि दोनों एक जैसा ही तो है, दोनों सेम काम करते हैं, दोनों का क्वालिटी सिमिलर है, बहुत ज़्यादा सिमिलर है, तो अगर इसका प्राइस इतना ज़्यादा है तो मैं कम पैसे देके दूसरा वाला ले लूँगा. मैं why will I pay more price to buy that particular one? I am getting the same benefit from the other one which is way cheaper. So that is why in monopolistic competition prices, they do not vary very much, and they stay relatively similar, right? But the differences come in terms of quality. There's not much price difference, there's this qualitative difference, right? There's the kind of materials that are used, the kind of packaging that it has, the kind of advertisement the product does, and there are non-price differences. These things come under non-price differences. So in monopolistic competition, जो goods बिकते हैं, right, जो goods monopolistic competition के अंदर आते हैं, so those goods are close substitutes to each other. The second and the fourth point are very related to each other. The goods are they're not perfect substitutes, they are close substitutes of each other, and they have non-price differences, right? So price is not a point of difference or distinction here. Price, क्योंकि price relatively similar रहते हैं, and price is not the way you measure difference. You measure differences in terms of quality, or in terms of the kinds of raw materials used, in terms of the benefit that it gives. This is how we measure differences in a monopolistic competition. Now moving on to the next point, we have few barriers to entry and exit. If we remember, perfect competition में हमने देखा था कि there were no barriers to entry and exit. उसके बाद हमने पढ़ा मोनोपोली में हमने देखा that there is no free entry and exit. There are barriers because that is why it's a monopoly. There's just one single seller, और अगर वो seller है और अगर कोई और seller नहीं है वहाँ पे, so it definitely means that there are certain barriers to entry and exit which people cannot overcome. चाहे वो पेटेंट्स की वजह से हो, चाहे वो बहुत ज़्यादा उस इंडस्ट्री में कॉस्टिंग बहुत ज़्यादा उसकी वजह से हो, चाहे वो इस रीज़न से हो that the seller has access to a very important raw material that nobody else does, which is a very hypothetical situation, but nevertheless those are the kind of examples that we discussed. So but in monopolistic competition there are few barriers to entry and exit. This means that there are barriers. It's not exactly free, but it might so happen that, especially in this is the because we have our syllabus is mostly inclined towards short run, so we're discussing short run. In the short run there are few barriers to entry and exit, which means that in the short run you might be able to enter that industry, or you might be able to exit that industry, and you might have to, because if you're exiting there will be certain costs that you'll have to incur, like liquidation costs and whatever other costs that you have when you're exiting an industry. So you might have to pay all that, but they are still bearable, or they are still affordable if you're exiting the industry, or you might be able to even enter the industry. Like the barriers aren't so strong that कोई entry हो ही नहीं रही है. It's not like that. It's like you might be able to. It's a maybe situation. But what happens in the long run, it's not basically a part of our syllabus, but just for the sake of discussion, what happens in the long run is there are no entry and exits in the long run. Long run, it's a period long enough that the monopolistic competition में जो भी industries और जो भी firms हैं वो सारे fixed हैं, right? So there can be no more firms in the long run. There cannot be any more entry, because then entry is no longer free and you cannot enter the market. And if somebody were to leave the market, if a firm existing in that particular industry, if they were to leave the market, then it would come at a high cost, because then you would have to pay the costs of exiting an industry. That would be something really expensive for the firm to do. So, but anyway, in case of the short run, there are very few barriers to entry and exit. Moving on, there's independent decision making. Independent decision making basically means that firms are free to take their own decisions. Firms do not have to rely, because when it comes to price, then firms have to see कि दूसरा industry कैसा price रख रहा है, because I cannot set my price very much higher than that. But besides that, there's independent decision making. Firms can take their own decisions regarding their products. They don't have to rely on each other. It's not like perfect competition where you have to produce the same equivalent kind of good, the same qualitative measurements have to be there. It's not like that. In monopolistic competition, जो भी firms एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, दे कैन टेक देयर ओन डिसीजंस, राइट? नाउ the next one is this same degree of market power. So firms have a certain degree of market power in monopolistic competition. Why they have market power? Because it's not like in perfect competition kya hua tha, we had a large number of, there were a large number of sellers, right? But in monopolistic competition there are many sellers, but it's not a large number. It's not like, you know, it's not like there are infinite number of sellers, or there can be infinite number of sellers, because this has free entry and exit. But here we have a few barriers to entry and exit. So there can only be many sellers, there cannot be a large number of sellers. And since the number of sellers that you have in the market, that's basically fixed, or that's more or less fixed, right? So that is why the, you know, there's some because I told you in the beginning, if you remember, that there's an implication to being a number of sellers in monopolistic competition, and this is what the implication is. Because there are a fixed number of sellers or a fixed number of producers, and जितने हैं मोर और लेस उतने ही रहेंगे. शॉर्ट रन में कुछ एंट्री कुछ एग्जिट हो सकती है, बट लॉन्ग रन में वो नंबर फिक्स रहती है. तो since they are the ones that, you know, that are dominating the supply side of the market, they are the ones who are taking all the decisions, they are the ones who are producing the goods and who are selling it and who are making it available for people, right? So they have some degree of market power, but this degree of market power is quite low, because, you know, because there's not just one seller, there's a number of sellers. So, and all of these sellers or all of these producers have some degree of market power. The market power is divided between the sellers. हर seller के पास कुछ थोड़ा थोड़ा power है. So there's a degree of market power which is quite low. And, you know, in comparison to that, if we looked at monopoly, here, since there was only a single seller, and that single seller dominated the entire supply side of the market. So this guy here, he had, you know, a very high degree of market power, because like we discussed, he cannot control the entire market, because the demand curve that happens in the economy, the demand curve is given by the consumers. And he cannot set the price, because if he sets a high price, then people are going to buy less of it. So what he could do is he could alter the, you know, quantity that he supplied. He had a control on that. He had a control on how much of supply he is going to be making available for the people. So the seller in the monopoly market, or the monopolist himself, he had a very high degree of you know, market power. But in monopolistic, what happens is there's a very low degree of market power, which is divided between all the sellers or all the producers that we have in the market, and every producer has the same degree of market power because they're existing in the same market. And the last point that we have here is, in the you know, monopolistic competition, there's some sort of selling cost. What we basically mean by selling cost is, so there's like a large number of sellers, right? Matlab, there's not a large number of sellers, there are many sellers, there are more than one, there are multiple sellers. So, and each of them are producing a good which is of a different quality, or which is of a, you know, different material. They are not selling the exact same good. So they have to convince people, they have to convince the consumers why somebody should buy their good and not the other goods that are available in the market. They have to, you know, appease the consumers, they have to please them with their product, that you should buy my product and you shouldn't buy other products because my product is better than everybody else's. This comes at a selling cost, and by selling cost, what we basically mean is the cost of advertisement, because it is through advertisement that we come to know of a particular good. This what advertisement does, it makes people aware of the fact there is this particular good in the market that we can also buy. Because other than that, people would never know that, yeah, if we were to buy soaps, people would never know, okay, this is a kind of soap that exists in the market. We never knew of this. That thing happens with advertisement. And through advertisement, the producers also convince people that okay, this has this material and this is why it's better than everybody else's product, and it does this to you, it gives you this benefit, that benefit, and all of this money that we're paying for advertisement, this comes under selling cost, which is present in monopolistic competition. It's not present in perfect competition because there's the same good, everybody's selling the same good. Nobody needs to convince people that you should buy my good and you shouldn't buy somebody else's good, right? So there's no need for selling costs in perfect competition, and in monopoly as well, that there's only one seller. Nobody would go to anybody else. There's just this one seller who's selling, who's supplying all the goods in the market, so you don't have any other alternative, so it's not needed here. So selling cost is basically just a very distinctive feature of the monopolistic competition. So this is our diagram of that represents the monopolistic competition. These are our market structure curves. यहाँ पे हमारे पास एक monopolistic का, this is the MR, this is the AR, these rising curves, these are the cost curves. These are our revenue curves. The two of these are our revenue curves, and the two of these are our cost curves, right? So this is a diagram that we make like any other. हम इसके horizontal axis पे output measure कर रहे हैं, हम इसके vertical axis पे price measure कर रहे हैं. तो it's like a monopolist is people in the monopolistic markets, they are producing their goods and they are selling it in the market, and they are earning certain revenue, and for producing their goods they are incurring certain costs. तो ये हमारे पास costs है. These are our revenues, right? And we also studied about the demand curve being this is something that we studied in in the monopoly market, but it's actually even true in case of the monopolistic competition, especially in the long run. But anyway, the AR is actually the demand curve that's facing the market. So anyway, it's true in case of short run as well. So this is what our diagram is. Let's discuss this, or let's look at this for a while. ये MR curve है, ये AR curve है. This is the MC curve, this is the AC curve. हमने ये पढ़ा था that the profit maximizing level, or the level till which a producer will produce a certain good and sell it in the market, is where we have the point MC is equals to MR. So MC is equals to MR happens to be our our profit maximization level of output. Here in this diagram, the MC curve and the MR curve are basically intersecting at this point. So we know that this is our profit, keeping in mind other things as well. This is our profit maximization level of output. तो उसका corresponding level of output हमारे पास Q0 है. So this is the point till which the producer takes the decision of producing his goods and supplying them in the market, right? So this is the point till which he can maximize his profits, and till which he can he'll keep on supplying the goods in the market. But anyway, what happens is हमारे पास जो average cost और average revenues है, what do they exactly mean? Average cost मतलब हमारे पास एक यूनिट का, for producing one unit, for producing each unit of the good, the cost that we're putting, like Q0 here implies a particular level. It's like maybe 1,000 units of the good, or it's maybe like 500 units of the good. So what I'm saying is, for producing each one particular unit of the good, the cost that we're incurring is AC, and the revenue that we're getting is AR. So in that way, the revenue minus cost formula that we have for measuring profit, that's exactly what we do here. We're saying कि इस क्वांटिटी तक प्रोड्यूसर अपना सामान बनाएगा, वो उसको बेचेगा मार्केट में, बट उसको इस सामान के लिए पैसे कितने देने पड़ रहे हैं फॉर दैट लेवल ऑफ आउटपुट. उस लेवल ऑफ आउटपुट में पहुंच के वो he looks at his history, तो उसका कॉस्टिंग कितना है, उसका पर यूनिट एक एक यूनिट उस सामान का बनाने के लिए उसको he pays this point in the AC curve. This is his per unit per unit cost of producing a good. So and the revenue that he gets, for producing per unit of that good is this, because this is our AR curve and this is our AC curve. This right here, this is our AC curve, and this one right here is our AR curve, which is also the demand curve facing the market. So anyway, the cost that the firm is incurring for producing each particular unit of that good comes over here, this dotted line. The price that he's getting paid for each particular unit of the good, that's over here, right? So when we're measuring P into quantity, we get what we call the total revenue. So what happens is, this squared portion that we have, where it means the AC curve, this is our total cost. This square portion, this rectangular portion that we have, this entire, including the total cost, this area, so basically this plus this entire thing taken together is our total revenue. So we're going to measure total revenue minus total cost, which is our profit. Total cost itna hai, total revenue itna hai. This much portion the producer is getting just like that. So that is basically what is profit is. This much is the profit that he makes, and it's a very important diagram. First of all, we find the intersection of the MC and the MR curve. The first thing that we do is the MC MR intersection. The second thing that we do is at that level of output, which is at Q naught. I'm just writing it in a short way. At Q naught, we look at AC, and then we look at AR, right? And then we relate that with the price, and then we relate that with the price, and we find out that itna to uska cost हो रहा है और इतना उसका revenue आ रहा है. So that's when we find out profit, because the AR curve is basically what helps us determine prices. So this AR curve, this is what helps us determine prices. Like we can see in this diagram as well, इसी point को vertical axis तक लाके, that's how we found out the price, because this is the demand curve of the consumers, and according to that, it means for this much unit of the good, the consumers are, if we relate it with the AR, the consumers are ready to pay this much price. For this much quantity, they are ready to pay this much price. And why should the producer charge anything less? He will definitely want कि उसको जितना भी मिले, whatever the consumers are willing to pay, he will take that. So for this much quantity, he spends this much amount on producing it, but he will definitely take this much price for selling it in the market, because that's what the consumers are willing to pay to him. So this is our entire cost revenue diagram of the monopolistic competition, and that's all we have about monopolistic competition. That's all we need to know about this form of market, especially in our standard.